Hey, everybody, this is Tell the Truth Sports Radio. I'm going to tell you the truth about the Final Four, and then we'll do a little NBA talk. Let's talk about the big game. North Carolina, Duke. And, I always like to wait till all the pundits make their points and then look at the game and just give my take and tell you the truth about what really happened. This was a great back and forth game. And Carolina, every time Duke scored, Carolina came right back. This is all about Caleb Love, how tough he was. And Carolina was up 62-57, 8 minutes left. I said, oh, man, Carolina going to win this? Because I picked Duke and Kansas. I just thought it was just going to be meant to be for Duke to win. So they got the lead. And I wanted to see how Duke responded. They responded. Benchero scored. And then they ended up scoring 6 straight points to take the lead with 7 minutes left. I said, oh, man, Duke's going to extend this lead. They're going to put Carolina out of misery. They're going to bring this game home, and they're going to get to the championship game and beat Kansas. And then Coach K goes out in a blaze of glory. But Caleb Love just kept him in shot after shot after shot. And another big shot after Duke took the lead was my guy. After Duke took the lead, my guy Manic hit a big 3-point shot to give them a 73-71 lead, minute left. But Duke came right back with a minute 22, and Wendell Moore hits his 25-foot three-pointer. Duke can play defense. And Duke is going to celebrate a close game, all-time great game. Carolina gets beat. You get revenge on your rival for beating you in Cameron Indoor Stadium. All right, we're going to beat up on Kansas. We're going to carry Coach K on the shoulders. We're going to just talk about the greatness of Duke and the program. And Coach K, nah. RJ Davis draws the foul, gets his free throws. And this was a key. And I'm going to give you my truthful take. Benchero wanted nothing to do with hitting a big shot. He didn't want any. He gave the ball to Mark Williams, and he did get fouled by Baycock. Bad foul, fouled him out. Mark Williams missed both free throws. That should be Benchero at the free throw line. And then I like what Carolina did. They said, listen, I don't care if it was a great shot or bad shot. Our best players getting the shot off. Duke's best player did not get the shot, did not want anything to do with the – I don't care about his point total. I see his point total. I don't care about that. I care about what you do 5 minutes on. And it was Caleb Love doing what he had to do. And he dribbled the clock down, and he said, I'm calling my own number. I just need some airspace to get this shot off. And bam, 3-point shot up 4. And I said, oh, man, they got him. They got him. And Duke had a couple of chances, missed a lot of free throws. And then Caleb Love hits the key free throws to put him away with 8 seconds left. And Carolina moves on to the championship game. And Love had 28 points. Now, he was only 3 of 10 from 3, but he hit the big one. I don't worry about – you could go 1 of 20, but if you hit that one that wins it, that was big. Davis was solid. Manic didn't play as good early, but he hit the shots. And one thing I do like about Manic and what Carolina did, limited Duke to 1 shot. They boxed out. Kids do not box out these days. They turned around. They boxed out. Hubert Davis did a terrific job of letting the game go from inside because he says, I like to establish Baycock. He's got good perimeter players. Then once we go inside, we kick it outside. That's old school. That's smart, good percentage basketball. And Carolina's got upperclassmen. Every good Carolina team always has those upperclassmen that play through the system. It's the Dean Smith system, going through Roy Williams and now Hubert Davis. And Carolina is able to move on. And Baycock was solid. Baycock was solid, man. 21 rebounds. 8 offensive rebounds. Gave them more possessions, and they just were tougher than Duke. And this is what is going to hurt because they have bragging rights forever. They beat Duke, and Coach K's last game in Cameron Indoor Stadium, every who's who that was a star at Duke was there. It was just a big love fest. It was going to be a big march into glory, and they beat the snot out of Duke in the final 5 minutes. And then Coach K kind of was sanctimonious, apologizing, didn't have to do all that nonsense. All right, they get to the Final Four, and I'm looking at the way things are lining up because Duke made an incredible comeback against Michigan State. So it's lining up. And I looked at Arizona and Gonzaga got beat. So now they don't have to worry about those teams I thought that could beat up on Duke. So now you get a bonus. Now you want Carolina in the Final Four because you get a chance to clip them and pay them back. And it's all well, you pay them back. Forget what happened in Cameron Indoor Stadium. But you lost to Carolina again. And Carolina said, listen, they don't. And Caleb Love, who was recruited by Duke out of St. Louis, and they changed their mind the last minute, didn't appreciate that. He almost intimated that in the press conference, but he's like, they didn't get back on defense, so we knew we could get a couple fast break points. That is a serious shot at a normally great defensive Duke team. Benchero's not the best defensive player. Duke's defense was solid. They had some, Moore and Williams and Benchero. They had some offensive guys that could put the ball in the basket. And then Roach, and then Keels. Keels was good. Keels, he had 19 points. He had some. Now he performed in the clutch for Duke, but you need your star. That ball at the end of the game got to go to your star. The star of North Carolina in this tournament has been Caleb Love. Mannick's been solid, but when Mannick got thrown out of the Baylor game, Caleb Love and Davis, and there's Caleb Love taking care of business, and Carolina marches on. Now, I don't know how Carolina gets up for Kansas, and I'll get into that a little later, but I want to talk about Kansas. It was from start to finish. They were up 40-29 against Villanova, and they ended up winning 81-65. McCormick was big, and Wilson was solid. It was just a nice team effort. Everybody contributed. McCormick was big time with 25 points and 9 rebounds. Babaji got hit the first 4 3-point shots he took, and he's caught fire. Hasn't shot it well from 3. I think he's in the 20s in the tournament, but man, when you needed him yesterday, he delivered. And Braun always, the one thing I know about Christian Braun, he always hits those 3-pointers you need. And Remy Martin only had 3 points, which is scary. If I'm a North Carolina fan, that scares me that they won that convincing without Remy Martin going clean off, coming off the bench. All right, this matchup. I'll be rooting for Carolina, but I got to pick Kansas because Kansas is a little more fresher. They didn't have to deal with the emotional turnaround. I understand Hubert Davis said, we will be ready. They will come out and they will try. But it's just going to be hard the way Kansas is playing. And McCormick can cancel out Baycock in the middle. And Abaji, it could come down to Abaji and Caleb Love. Whose star delivers? And then what about Wilson and Davis, the secondary stars? And there's a lot. Then you have Braun going up against Leaky Black, Braun and Black. So there's a lot. This is a very well matched game. This Carolina could conceivably win because Carolina is played. I picked Marquette against Carolina. I picked Baylor against Carolina. Okay. I picked UCLA against Carolina. And I was about to pick St. Peter's against Carolina. And I picked Duke against Carolina. I said, well, I looked at the ACC tournament. I said, they're the typical Carolina soft team. I know they beat Duke, but whatever. I said, I can't wait to eliminate them in the first round. Carolina delivered the goods. They showed you toughness. And I should have known that because every good Carolina team's got all the good senior and junior leadership like they have now. I like how Carolina's playing. It's just that Kansas is and Bill Self, I get on him a lot, but he does have a tendency to beat up on Carolina. Kansas kind of had Carolina's number over the last 10 years in the tournament. If you look at the games and in the NCAA tournament, Kansas has always come on top against Carolina. I'm picking them again, but man, do I want Carolina to win the game, man. I want to see Hubert Davis get this championship. But the show's called Tell the Truth Sports Radio. I gotta tell the truth. I hope I hope I'm wrong. I just don't think so. Kansas is just playing at such a high level that Carolina's got to come back from the emotional high at Duke and then turn around and play at a high level, which they're capable of because they got a lot of heart. They got more heart than I thought they had. But I'm gonna go with Kansas, and man, I hope there's the one pick I'm wrong about. Okay, the NBA. I want to talk a little NBA. Headed toward the playoffs. I want to focus on the champs, the Milwaukee Bucks. That's Giannis you see on your screen. They lost to Dallas 118 to 112. And this was an interesting game. The Bucks have not played well in 3 straight games. The game that was gifted to them by the Nets, after a great win versus Sixers, they were gifted a win by the Nets, and Nets threw the game away. They got annihilated by the Clippers because they didn't play anybody because they were exhausted from the Nets game. But everybody played this game against the Mavericks. The Mavericks took the game from them. It was kind of a tight contest until the second quarter, Dallas got going, but in the third quarter, they played well. Fourth quarter, they took it from them. And it was Luka Doncic. And this is what I hate about the NBA right now. I don't want to sound like the get off my lawn line is kind of tired, but there are certain aspects of the game that are lost that shouldn't have been lost. And there's certain aspects of the game I do like with the dribble drive. I like certain aspects of this game that I take away. I wish there was more of a post game. That's why the Bucks won, because they did play inside out. They did not in this game. The Mavericks kind of pinched down low on Giannis, daring him to shoot further outside. He does have a nice mid-range now, but they didn't give him a chance to operate. They kind of was impatient, taking some bad shots. Connaughton took a bad shot. Middleton took a couple bad shots. He wasn't in the flow. But Dallas was in the flow because Doncic controlled the tempo. He's got that nice in and out dribble. Sometimes he'll take a crazy step back, but a lot of times if he steps toward his left on the step back, even if you contest it, he nails it usually for the step back 3. And he had 35 points, 15 assists, and 8 rebounds. Powell was really, really good. Dwight Powell boxed out. He guarded. He scored on a lot of the dribble penetration by Finney-Smith, who's getting better by the second, and Doncic. And it was very, very basic. Doncic coming off the high screen or Doncic breaking down the defender not named Holiday. The whole concept of Dallas was to make sure Holiday wasn't going to guard Doncic, because Holiday can guard anybody. So I said, well, you know what? We need Doncic to get off. We don't want him fighting and wrestling around with Holiday. So he would get a switch to Middleton. He would get a switch to Portis. He would take the step back 3, or he'd break his defender down and either take that little push shot or drive in and dish it to Powell, or made some ridiculously nice passes to B-Trans, who played well. He hit 2 3-point shots, courtesy of some amazing assists from Luka. One time Luka drove in midair on the opposite side, threw a ball, I don't want to say cross court, but cross to the sideline, and Beatrice hits a sweet 3-point shot in rhythm, in the flow, actually from the arc. And he catches it right in his sweet spot where he could catch it. The ball was delivered so perfectly where he caught it and shot it. It was just, It was a thing of beauty, and he is a slick. He's like Paul. He's not as efficient as Paul, but he's always in the +8. You look at the plus minuses, Powell +8, Bullock was solid +8, Brunson +6. And Brunson's not a quick guard. He's a slick, crafty left-handed player. Finney Smith is getting better by the second. Dinwiddie gives you that's a nice guy to come off the bench. Dallas is dangerous, but I want to focus on the Bucks before I go into Dallas. They needed this game because they're in a log jam in the East. You look at the East, they're tied with Boston and Philadelphia, 30 losses. And Toronto only has 32. And even Chicago, the 6, has 33. They're all log jamming. Miami's at 28. Miami has a really good chance of getting that 1 seed. If I were to just pick teams, the 2 teams I trust the most is the Miami Heat and the Bucks. Boston, they always seem like they're, I don't know. They've been hot, but now I don't know about Boston. I don't know if I could trust them when the postseason comes. And I definitely don't trust Harden and the Sixers in the postseason. Toronto, I totally trust. They just don't have enough guys. They're the 5 seed because Nick Nurse can coach. And Chicago, I need to see the health of ball. Because you give me a healthy ball and you give me Milwaukee, Chicago, Philadelphia, Toronto, Boston, whoever comes out at scrum with Atlanta and Cleveland and Charlotte and Brooklyn, and then Miami against the playing team, that'd be interesting. Thing about Brooklyn, they blew a game against the Bucks. They had no business losing. And they were talking about, well, Giannis owns, it was just a stupid take. Giannis owns Durant. No, he doesn't. Kevin Durant should have hit what would have been a game-winning 3-point free throws. Giannis gets the ball after Giannis did make a big 3-point shot to tie the score. Then they took the lead, and then Durant gave him the 1-point lead. Giannis is driving to the basket. If the defender doesn't foul Giannis, Kevin Durant had the shot blocked. So if the defender doesn't block Giannis, that's a block shot and the game's over, and the Nets win. So please miss me with the ownership garbage. But I love the Bucks team because of Holiday. I'm really realizing how important Holiday is as far as he's one of the best defensive players in the entire sport. He hits tough shots. He drives. He's just overall toughness. It wasn't enough today against Dallas, but the East is going to be. Both conferences are really good. But I'm interested in the play-in teams because you get me Atlanta and Charlotte with Ball versus Trae Young and Bogdanovich and Ball and Bridges and all those monsters on that team against an experienced Atlanta team that's in the conference championship. Man, let me tell you something. If I had a little bigger budget, I would go to Atlanta or Charlotte to see that game in person. And Cleveland, Brooklyn's not bad. But see, Brooklyn is not getting out of the first round without Ben Simmons. If I'm KD and Kyrie, I'm checking on him. I'm like, how's the back doing? How you doing? How are you feeling right now? When can you come back? They need him back. Not because of the scoring, but because they look like they're always one defender short in these losses to Charlotte and Milwaukee and in Atlanta the other day. Because he guards Trae Young or Bogdanovich or the big guy, or he'll guard Giannis. He guards 5 positions. So if he's in good enough shape and you give him 20 minutes just to facilitate and defend, that little bit of extra is going to help Brooklyn. He doesn't play. I might pick Cleveland to beat Brooklyn in the first round. Now the West, the West. Just look at these matchups for a second. Minnesota's going to slaughter San Antonio. So that's the least competitive. Look at the play-in. Minnesota will slaughter San Antonio. Don't bother to watch that. Well, I'll watch it because I love Karl Towns. The Clippers and New Orleans, is Kawhi coming back? What's going on with the Pelicans? That's going to be good. Is Zion coming back? How healthy is Paul George? But if all those guys would be able to come back, that would be some series. That's a good one. But look at the potential Western playoffs. If chalk held up and you had Phoenix versus the winner of Dallas, Utah, as good as Utah, you're talking about Luka versus Mitchell, two of the best, bigger playmaking guard forwards in the league who love to dribble, drive, shoot, step back, give their bigs opportunities with lobs toward the basket. Man, that's a heck of a matchup. Golden State versus Denver, and Denver is, I want to see what Michael Porter and Murray, they're going to play. That would be trouble for Golden State. How healthy is Curry? That's a great matchup. And then Memphis, give me Memphis and Minnesota, and you give me the idiot Patrick Beverly out there trying to talk smack to John Morant, who's super aggressive. That's a great matchup. And then Karl Towns going up against some of the guys that against Clark and some of the bigs on Memphis. As tough as Memphis is Minnesota ready for that challenge? That's a great matchup. And Phoenix will play the winner of Dallas, Utah. That's a tough matchup. As high as I am, I've invested stock in Phoenix. That's a tough matchup. You run into, say for instance, you run to Dallas. You know Chris Paul's great in the last 3 minutes, but you also know that Luka's great in the last 3 minutes. Has Luka learned enough to go toe-to-toe and even play better than the old wily veteran Chris Paul? So many great NBA potential matchups in the playoffs.